it's Carrie with Rockin' G Farm. Well, this year I just wanted to start new and try something totally different. Well, as a lot of you know, we are empty nesters, and it's really hard to try to feed just two people when you're an empty nester, because you just end up some days going, it's just not worth it to cook, so we'll just eat a bowl of cereal, or we'll drink a glass of sweet milk with a piece of cornbread, and that'll probably it. Or sometimes I just say, forget it, I'm just not going to make anything, and we just won't eat. So this year I've decided to make a meal plan for the week, and that's what I'm starting. So you are joining me on my meal plan for my first week that I'm doing this. Right now I'm getting is going to be my pancakes. I love to come in and eat pancakes in the morning, and in the summertime I love blueberry or blackberry pancakes. And luckily I have some frozen blackberries from our blackberry bush. So right now I'm going to show you how to do my blackberry pancakes. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make them all and put it in my jar and put it in the refrigerator, so that in the mornings I can come out and already have my pancake mixture made. Let me go through with you what the plan for this week is as far as our meal. So we are going to do, I'm going to do the blueberry pancake, or actually it's going to be blackberry pancakes for me. And then I am going to make up some breakfast burritos and put them in the freezer for my husband, because he loves breakfast burritos and they're really easy for him to go and grab and warm up, especially on our crazy schedule. And then for suppers, we're going to have spaghetti one night, chicken Alfredo, shepherd's pie. Now that's only 3 meals, but with just baking for 2 people, we're going to split them up, and then that will run the full week, and also possibly give us some lunches in there, so we'll just be able to grab them out and eat lunch here on those leftovers while we're here at home. But right now I'm going to start on my blackberry pancakes and let you come with me. So I've already got all the meat out of the freezers for this week's meal planning so they can defrost. I've got sausage, and the only chicken I had was chicken legs, so I'll be putting those in the crock pot to let them cook. I've got 2 pounds of hamburger meat, and I've got probably 2 pounds of blackberries. So I'm going to go ahead and open these blackberries and get them in my Pampered Chef pitcher. And I'm just going to put them all in here, because I'm probably going to make something else out of these, but I just don't know what just yet. Okay, so I have my blackberries. These are fresh from our blackberry bushes behind our house. I already have 2 cups of all-purpose flour measured out into my little container, and then I've got baking soda and baking powder. And I am just going to add a teaspoon of each of those into my flour in my container. So that's baking powder, and my baking soda is right here. Just 1 teaspoon of each. And then I'm going to whisk those together. I just want to make sure that the dry ingredients are mixed very well together. And then I actually need a little bit of salt also. Okay, so that will be my dry ingredients for my pancake mixture for the week. And this is just enough for me to eat pancakes, because my husband doesn't like a lot of bread. He'll eat biscuits, but as far as French toast or pancakes and stuff, he would rather not have those. So this is what I'm making for me. I do like butter in mine. And so I just get butter and I cut it up into little pieces into my flour mixture. And I probably should use a grater, but the grater just got put in the dishwasher, so I don't have that available. So I'm just using a knife and just putting some shredded butter in my flour mixture. Okay, so that is all of my dry mixture along with my butter. And then I like to put some eggs in. Actually, I'm gonna use this egg because I've been wanting to see, because it was so big when I got it last week out of my chicken coop. So since it's a fresh egg, I am using a different, what I thought it was a double yolk. Let me show you double yolk. A lot of you don't see a double yolk. Okay, so I've got that bent down a little bit and you can see it's a double yolk. Oop, then I just poured some of it on my chair. Right there, double yolk. So when people say they have a double yolk, all it is there's 2 yolks inside of the egg. So that's what a double yolk looks like. And yes, I spilled it on my chair again. So after I've got my butter mixed in with my dry ingredients, I'm gonna go ahead and put the egg in. And if I didn't have a double yolk, I would have put 2 eggs in. And then I'm going to put a little bit of milk in. And I usually start out just a little bit of milk, and then I stir it up and then until it gets to pancake batter consistency. A little bit more. So that was probably 1 cup so far. Is looking a little bit like pancake batter consistency. It's really runny, still has a little clumps, but I'm not gonna worry about mixing it up so much to get all the clumps out. They will bake out as long as they're not too big. Okay, so that looks good. Just to kind of let you see what the consistency of pancake batter is. If you make it a little bit thicker, they will be a little bit fluffier. They will be thicker. Okay, so now we're gonna put probably about a 1/2 cup of blackberries, and they still are frozen. Of course, you can put as many blackberries as you want in there, but just remember that the more you put in there, the more liquefied the pancake batter will become. I'm going to mix those blackberries into my pancake batter. Good. Then I'm just going to put everything in a mason jar, and I'm not for sure if my mason jar is going to be so big enough, but that's okay. Put it all in. I'm just going to clean off the lid. Here is my blackberry pancake batter for the week. So I'm going to put that in the refrigerator right now. Okay, now I'm going to get my chicken started for my chicken Alfredo and my chicken noodle soup. And like I said, the only chicken that I could find in my freezers were chicken legs, so I'm just going to get these chicken legs started in the crock pot right over here. And the chicken legs were washed prior to putting them in my storage bags. Anytime you touch chicken, raw chicken, you need to wash your hands so you don't spread any chicken drippings to any part of your kitchen, and you will not have any bacterial growth growing in your kitchen. Need to put those up and that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to put some plain tap water in with my chicken legs in my crock pot. So this is about 4 cups of water, and the chicken legs are barely out of the water. I don't want to cover them up all the way with the water. So I'm going to add some salt and pepper. And since I'm using this for other meals, I'm not going to add a lot of flavoring to this chicken because I'm going to be splitting it between 2 meals, and 2 of them are going to be flavored differently. So I've got those going from almost thawed, so probably I'm going to check them in about 4 hours and see how they are, and I'm going to start using them when I go in there and the meat falls right off the bone. So I've got it on high, and I've got it on for about 4 hours, so we're going to just let that cook. So I put a little bit of butter in the bottom of my iron skillet, and now I'm going to enjoy me a blackberry pancake. It's time to flip your pancake when you see little bubbles starting to pop on top of the pancake. After I flip my pancakes, I turn the heat off until they are finished cooking. Okay guys, just got done eating my blackberry pancake and I feel so much better. Got my belly full because the breakfast, I cannot miss breakfast. Breakfast is it's my jam. Can't miss it. So I'm gonna finish getting everything prepped for my meals for the week, and we're going to start now for the 2 pounds of hamburger meat that we're going to use right here. I did wash my scissors, kitchen scissors here. Of course, I got those from Pampered Chef also. And let me go ahead and turn this up. I've got my cast iron skillet warming up. I'm probably going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper to the hamburger meat due to the fact that I am making shepherd's pie and spaghetti out of this hamburger meat, and they will have different flavors. So let's cut this off here. By meal prepping, I will feel more, I'll be urged more to make supper instead of just not eating. So let's go put these 2 pounds of hamburger meat into our cast iron skillet. Got my heat on probably medium high, and we'll just get this hamburger starting to brown. Still a little bit frozen. So I've got some spaghetti sauce that I canned last summer, and I've got my spaghetti noodles in my handy dandy Tupperware container. Hamburger is done, so I've turned it off and I'm just letting it sit there on the stovetop for a minute until I can let it cool down just enough to put it into separate bowls. I'm going to go ahead and get my vegetables that are going to be needed for my shepherd's pie and chicken noodle soup diced up and ready in their separate bags. So I will be using some carrots in both of those. I don't think so. I'm going to be using carrots in my chicken noodle soup and celery in my chicken noodle soup. And I went ahead and got some cream of mushroom and cream of chicken out for my chicken noodle soup, and I've got some mixed vegetables for my shepherd's pie, and some mild cheddar cheese because I know I'm going to need that shredded for the shepherd's pie. We're still letting the sausage thaw for the, oh, it's getting there. It's on, okay, that thawed really fast. So we'll do that next. That's going to be our sausage for our breakfast burritos. But let me finish up right now on the chicken noodle soup since I've got these to get going. It is a good practice to make sure that you wash all your raw vegetables before you chop them up and prepare them for a meal. Now I'm just going to peel my carrots, chop them up, and then chop up the celery for the chicken noodle soup. Since the celery and the carrots are going to go in the chicken noodle soup, I'm going to put them in a plastic container and place them in the refrigerator until it is time to make the chicken noodle soup. Okay, I wanted to add something to the Alfredo. So I've got some frozen extra virgin olive oil and some of my basil that I had this summer. So I'm going to put a block of that in with what I'm going to be using for my chicken Alfredo. And then I do like bell peppers, especially the red ones in my Alfredo. So I'm going to pull about a handful of these that are frozen, and they're already chopped up, so I won't have to chop them. So awesome. That helped save me a step. I think that'll probably be enough for us. Everything ready for that. I did not have any Alfredo sauce already made, so I'm going to have to make that from scratch, but that's going to be a Thursday night meal, and so I'll probably have a little bit more time to make that Alfredo sauce from scratch. But I do have the Philadelphia cream cheese to use with that, and I have milk to use with that, so I'm good on that. So let's put those are ready to go into the refrigerator. Oh, I am ready to get the hamburger into its containers for this meals for the week. And I'm just going to split this right in half because we had 2 pounds. So I'm going to do 1 pound for spaghetti and 1 pound for the shepherd's pie. Okay, so that's the lid for the shepherd's pie. Hamburger, shepherd's pie. Spaghetti sauce is over here. So we've got the spaghetti sauce. We got the noodles for today and the hamburger meat. So we'll go ahead and put the hamburger meats into the refrigerator. Great. I feel great knowing that I've got all this ready and done for the week, and I don't have to come home or come out from the garden or what I'm doing and wonder what I'm gonna make for supper or how long it's gonna be until supper. So that is awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and put the other stuff for Alfredo sauce and the chicken noodle soup in the fridge. Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna put this over here with those, but those are gonna go into the container. These are gonna be... Now I am going to grate the cheddar cheese for the shepherd's pie, and I decided to do the whole block so I can save it all and use what I don't use today later. So I went ahead and grated that whole block of cheese. So now I've got some for my shepherd's pie along with something else that will possibly come along throughout the week or next week, and then I'll be prepared for that too. So this is gonna go into the refrigerator now, and then I think we can probably start on the breakfast burritos. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna use the same pan that I was using for my hamburger meat or my deer meat. It didn't have any seasoning in it except for salt and pepper, so there shouldn't be any problem with me just adding this mild sausage to that pan and let it brown. And since this is farm fresh sausage, I'm going to add a little bit of oil to it. And I just thought I might get some of those bell peppers out and put them in here while this is browning. That'll add a little bit of flavor. Even though the bell peppers were sliced, I wanted to cut them up in smaller pieces so they would be easier to eat in the breakfast burritos. So I'm using my kitchen shears to cut them up in small portions. Now I'm just going to let the sausage brown, and I'm going to add some salt and pepper just for a little seasoning, and then we'll get on to adding the eggs. So with the sausage being browned, I went ahead and started adding the eggs. And since the eggs were farm fresh eggs, I cracked them open in a different bowl before I put them in the actual skillet with the sausage, so that if any of them were bad, it would not ruin all of my sausage. So I will go ahead and let the eggs cook. And I believe I used probably about 6 eggs, and with that mix and chop, it makes everything really super fine, so there's no big heavy clumps in your burritos. Okay, I've got some of my Reynolds wrap torn for the burritos. And this is my homemade salsa from this past summer. And we'll be adding that to the burrito mixture. Make sure it smells okay. Hotness. Might be hot. I think it'll be okay. Okay, so you get up here and see how small that mixer, that hand mixer that I use from Pampered Chef, makes the sausage and the eggs. Real small bites so you don't end up trying to drive down the road eating your burrito and end up with a big piece of sausage in your mouth. So now I'm just going to go ahead and add some filling to my burritos, roll them up and get them ready. I feel so good having these ready. I really do, because I feel bad because, you know, come home, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want to eat? I'm bored. Let's just don't eat. Oh, okay. Let's just don't eat. We'll just eat. We'll just drink a big glass of milk. So that's what we do sometimes. Like I said, I would probably use the rest of this cheese, which I didn't even think about putting cheese on the burrito. So I'll just put a little bit of cheese in the center here. And then just a little dab of salsa in the middle. And we'll just I kind of make mine small. I'm not into the big burrito that's gonna fall apart while I'm eating it. Boop. There we go. And I'm not a good roller, so give me a second to figure this out. There we go. Here we go. And I'm going to save one out for today, and I'm going to save one out for tomorrow so that it won't be frozen. Actually, I think I might just leave them all out for today, and if whatever I have left over, I will put in the freezer. I think that'll probably be the plan. I think it would have been better if I had some larger tortillas. It would have been easier to roll the breakfast burritos. So next time I will try that. And after I rolled the breakfast burritos, I folded them up in some tin foil, and I ended up having 8 breakfast burritos, and so I left 2 out and put the rest in the freezer for later. And I am so excited that he will have a warm breakfast quickly without having to worry about time. Now I'm starting the water to boil to put the potatoes in for the shepherd's pie. Okay, so it's been about 4 hours. Let's check on my chicken. Oh yeah, it's ready. So now all I'm gonna do is put the chicken in their individual containers for their meals. And I'm gonna save this chicken broth, and I'm gonna use that to make the chicken noodle soup. Okay, I've got my chicken off the bone, and now I'm just gonna split it in half. Half's gonna go to the chicken noodle soup, and half is gonna go to the chicken Alfredo. And of course, you can use skinless chicken breast, but all I had on hand was the chicken legs, and so that's what I'm using. So there are my chickens. Oopsie, to go with the chicken. Guys, one last thing I thought I would do while I am waiting for my potatoes to cool so I can peel them. I'm just gonna go ahead and make a blackberry cobbler with what is left over from some of the blackberries that I had this morning. So I am just going to use 1 cup of sugar, easy. 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of flour. Pour that in there. One whole cup of milk. Pour that in. A little bit of a mess there. And a half a cup or a half stick of melted butter. Let me melt my butter real quick. Now, since my flour is all-purpose flour instead of self-rising flour, I am going to add some baking powder and salt. So for 1 cup of flour that is all-purpose flour, I'm going to use 1½ teaspoons of baking powder in order to add some leavening agent to it so it will rise. So here is 1 teaspoon. And a little crack. And we'll just use the other piece right there and just kind of, and then we'll do a half of this one again. And that's baking powder. And then we're gonna add a half a teaspoon of salt. And then again, I'm not going to measure that over my ingredients because I don't want to accidentally spill extra salt into my mixture. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to whisk this all together. The sugar, the flour, salt, and baking powder. And mixed up, and I'm going to put the melted butter in. I have my oven already set to preheat to 350, and I need 2 cups of blackberries. And I am just going to eyeball that because I have a whole bunch left over. That's probably more like 3 cups because my blackberries are pretty big. There you go. So that's what it looks like. And then I am going to serve it with vanilla ice cream. We're going to put that in the oven for 50 minutes. I'm going to sprinkle some sugar on top of this before we go in. And I'm going to use my hand since my cup for this is in the dishwasher. Okay. Just enough to cover it up a little bit, and we're still waiting for the oven to preheat, and we'll be ready for this, and we'll have all my suppers for the week, everything prepared so I can just dump and heat it up. So I'm so excited because it's really hard. I know a lot of you coming home from work are like, oh, what do we cook for supper tonight? But this has already taken a load of stress off of me already. I feel so light because I know I have everything for the week. And possibly part of next week. I think I might even put, Hunter and I were talking, and we might even put the shepherd's pie in the freezer for next week because this is an awful lot of food for 2 people. So we'll just go ahead and get this done, and I'm really excited. Let me get my potatoes done and those in the refrigerator, and our meal prep for this week will be done. I like to boil my potatoes with the skin on because it makes it so much easier just to pull the skin off after they have been boiled. I've got my mashed potatoes mashed up along with about 2 tablespoons of butter. And then when I come back and start putting this all together, I'm going to add about a 1/2 cup of milk into this, and then I'll layer those into my loaf pans to make some shepherd's pie. So I have this basket, and I'm going to put all of the ingredients that are in canisters, cans, my spices that I need, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the noodles for the 2 meals that I have there. And then I've got these noodles. Actually, we have 3 sets of noodles this week. Woohoo! And spaghetti sauce, homemade spaghetti sauce. I'll put that in here. And that's all of our dry good or our canned goods that are going to go into making the meals for this week. Everything else is in the refrigerator, and we will have our meal prep for the week done. And then nobody can, I put these away on the freezer in the laundry room, and then this is already earmarked for meals, so this won't be used because it won't be out in my pantry. So guys, join me as I made a very long video and have lots of editing to finish up before I post it tomorrow. But thank you for joining me as I start my meal prepping hopefully to continue throughout the year, but at least I've got 1 week down underneath my belt, and so far I've got a lot of stress off of my shoulders. So thanks for joining me, and make what you have beautiful.